I'm Dr. Amy Sapola, Director of Pharmacy with an F at the Chef's Garden. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and that's mindful eating. What is mindful eating, you might be asking yourself? Mindful eating is based on the practice of mindfulness. Someone who eats mindfully allows themselves to become aware of the nourishment available through food selection and preparation by respecting their own inner wisdom. They use all of their senses in choosing to eat food that's both satisfying and nourishing. They also acknowledge their responses to foods, whether that's likes, dislikes, or just feeling neutral about it, without any judgment. They're also aware of their physical hunger and satisfaction cues and use those to guide their decision to begin and end eating. Someone who eats mindfully also brings kindness and curiosity to the eating experience. What are the benefits of mindful eating? So mindful eating has a number of different benefits. The best one is better digestion, and I always say that's my favorite side effect of mindful eating. When you go to begin mindful eating, you can start really simply by just starting with a calm environment, taking 3 deep breaths before you eat, and moving out of that sympathetic state. And the sympathetic state is the fight, flight, or freeze state. And you can move more into a parasympathetic state, which is known as rest, digest, or reproduce. Tuning into the senses, where you're really tuning into your sense of sight, taste, smell, and so on, allowing the secretion of saliva and all of the digestive enzymes it contains to start before the first bite of food even hits your mouth. So you don't even need digestive enzyme supplements if you are practicing mindful eating. So as you begin mindful eating, especially if you're eating vegetables that are higher in fiber and eating in a different way that maybe is starting to support your digestive system, this can sometimes cause gas and bloating. And so some of my favorite tips when it comes to digestion and reducing these symptoms are to just start with chewing really well. And this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to chew a certain number of times, but it's just chewing your food well. Do you have dental pain when you're chewing? Chewing increases digestive enzymes and gastric juices and even bile secretion. So chewing really helps to break down that food so that you're not swallowing larger pieces of food, making it more difficult for the digestive enzymes to really break them down. This can result in suboptimal absorption of nutrients. Even if you're eating beautiful nutrient-dense food, when you have undigested food reaching the intestines, that's when the microorganisms down there start to have a feast, and they can produce a lot of gas and bloating. So another tip I like is taking a mindful pause while eating. This is really important because it helps to reduce eating past a comfortable level of satisfaction and also helps with the movement of food through the gastrointestinal tract. It's really just taking a minute to set down your fork, check in with yourself, see how you're feeling, and see if you'd like to keep eating or not. Research has found that stress plays a role in functional gastrointestinal disorders such as irritable bowel syndrome and indigestion. Mindful eating allows the food that you're eating to nourish your body. I use this example often, but if you're eating while angry, say you just got in an argument or you're feeling really upset and you eat, that food will not digest nearly as well if you're in a really restful, calm state. You may feel, if you're eating while angry, that the food just sits there. Our bodies don't know the difference between stressful thoughts and real-life situations. The same stress hormones are released either way. Mindful eating is really impactful when it comes to the gut-brain connection. Consider how we describe experiences such as gut-wrenching, or feeling butterflies in your stomach, or feeling nauseous when you're nervous with anticipation. These sayings demonstrate the gut-brain connection. It's well established that the gastrointestinal tract is affected by emotions, including anger, anxiety, and sadness, which can result in physical symptoms and symptoms of anxiety, depression, and so on. They can also result from signals that come from the digestive tract. It works both ways. It's important to consider the role of stress and emotions when considering digestive health. Here are some of my favorite tips to start with mindful eating. First, I like to start with just simply noticing. When you're preparing your meal, notice how you're feeling. Are you happy, sad, stressed, rushed? Is there anything in the area around you where you're going to eat that's causing you stress or distraction? Can you remove it prior to starting your meal? Next, turn off all electronics. If you're eating with others, this is not a time to have a stressful conversation, which means no political discussions, no arguments, nothing like that. Third, set the table. Even if this is just taking your food out of a takeout container and putting it on a plate, that's great. You may also consider turning on relaxing music, lighting a candle, or using a dish that you just like or feel is beautiful. Finally, before you take your first bite, look at your food. Notice the beautiful colors, smell the food, and just take 3 long, slow, deep breaths. Notice the saliva beginning to accumulate in your mouth. You're already starting to digest. Mindful eating is one of my favorite practices and has been so impactful for me personally. It's something I practice each and every day. And by no means do you have to be perfect at it or do it at every meal. Like I said, just starting simply, doing one small thing. I often say just start with taking 3 deep breaths before your meal is a great way to begin mindful eating. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm Dr. Amy Sapola, wishing you health and happiness. I'll be back with you next time.